Hi, this is Dave, Fell Running Guide. Welcome to this week's navigation task. This week I have made it a little bit easier for you, I think. I just want you to identify these boulders or rocks. And I've given you a choice of 5 different possible locations there rather than you having to find it yourself. The map we're using is the Harvey Maps Superwalker 1 to 25,000 of the Dark Peak. And I've got an agreement with Harvey's to use their map extracts for these tasks. So let's have a look at that photograph. What are the main features that we can see? Well, first of all, we've got this very obvious steep-sided valley dropping away almost immediately to the left of these rocks here. You can see it looks like there's a change of direction of that valley. Swings round. If we were walking downstream, we'd swing round to the left and then straight down to what looks like a road and possibly some buildings at the other side, and we've got these trees around it. High ground to the right, this high flat ground to the right of the bottom of the stream, and this high flat plateau below us to the left. So can we see any of that on the map? So let's think about A to start with. If we were at A looking down onto these rocks or boulders, we've definitely got steep ground to the left, but it isn't dropping down immediately into a steep-sided valley. There is a steep-sided valley, but that's a kilometre away, so that isn't what we're looking at. What about B? Well, straight away from B down steep ground and steeply up the other side. This Blackton Brook going down with a change of direction there, down to a road and down to some buildings. So could be B. What about C? Similarly, really steep ground dropping away into that Blackton Brook. D, well, we do have the steep ground dropping away to the brook, but it's quite a long distance down to there, and if we were stood above D looking down onto it, we wouldn't then be looking down onto the valley below us and down to the road and the trees. We haven't got that valley feature below. We've got a minor stream here, but that's not as significant. And E, same goes for that. We haven't got a steep-sided valley down to the left. So it looks like our options are limited to B or C. So can we identify which one of these it is? Let's have a think about B to start with. So if we were looking down on B, we might see a path beyond the rocks or the boulders, and just to the right of them we might see this stream starting to drop down into the brook. And another thing, if we were looking down past the boulders and to the farm here, we'd be looking across this left-hand flank of Blackton Brook. I'll just put an arrow on the map, a line on the map to demonstrate that. So there, if we were looking down with those rocks to our right and then down to the buildings here, we'd be looking over this left-hand steep ground on the west side of Blackton Brook. And now if we look at the photograph, from our viewpoint, it's straight down almost to the right hand side, if anything, of the stream here. We're certainly not overlooking this flank. It's hard to say whether there's a path just down out of sight here. There may or may not be. And is there a stream down to the right? It could be obscured. There's a dip further down here, but that's too far away. So it doesn't look like B, but let's check. What about C? If we were looking from just maybe on this path, looking down, we'd be more looking straight down the lower part of the brook over to the farm buildings. Again, I'll put an arrow on for you. So there, that fits more with the photograph going over there. And there's one other thing that really stands out to me, and that is this flat area just beyond and to the right of the boulders, with this rocky ground on its steep sort of northwest facing flank, or dropping away northwestwards down into the valley bottom here. Now, if you're observant, you might notice that this was the one of the answers to last week's navigation task. We were over looking from the other direction off the top of the map here at Allport Castles, looking southwestwards over to this steep ground. Put a little link up here to the video if you haven't seen it. But yeah, can we see this little flat area sticking out and this rocky ground on its left-hand flank? Well, there, look, we've got this flatter area right there, and then we can see rocky ground here dropping in. So yeah, last week we were looking over from somewhere over here. This is Allport Castles looking over back towards us. So your answer this week was, wait for it, C. Looking down Blackden Brook onto Blackden View Farm. So I know quite a few people got that right on the social media answers. I think it was a little bit easier this week, but something for everybody. But hope you found it interesting. Thanks for watching. Look out for next week's navigation task. Bye for now.